It's time for the Mad Dog Show, coming to you from the heart of the Bulldog Nation. And now, here he is, the Mad Dog.
Well, sadly for the Dogs, but maybe not unexpectedly, this is a post-season report, but it's also a pre-Final Four report. I am the Mad Dog, and we have, as always, Grind Dog. What's up?
Well, the Mad Dog postponed the show for a week and a half because he said that I would be too negative on the Dogs. And let me tell you, because Mad Dog and I exchanged some tweets, not tweets or text during the game, and he felt that it'd be better for the whole Georgia nation if they didn't catch the wrath of the Grind Dog and what he really thought after the game.
It was too soon. It was just too soon. It was too raw.
I was ready. It was very tough that I felt like, when we talked before, what were the goals for the season? I said if we go 10-8 in the SEC, it'd be great. We did that. We played an exciting brand of basketball. The preseason or whatever the non-conference games that led up were super exciting to go to. The guys played great. And that was sub-level competition. And that really, really showed that we got a false sense of what we had as a team, I think. Now
there are a lot of teams that we beat that got way farther than we did in the tournament.
Good. There was obviously good and bad during the season. We started off strong, ended strong, beat a good Alabama team, beat a fairly good Kentucky team, beat Texas, who had a great run in the tournament, played Tennessee to overtime. I mean, there was some great things to look at, but then when it really gets down to when you got to show what you're made of, we crumbled. I mean, that's twice in a row. The Gonzaga loss last year, we were just glad to be there, and Gonzaga was seated too low, and they, wiped us out. But this, we knew what we were getting into when we played the Billikens. We knew we were playing this magic elf and his very men of men, led by the chief nerd. What was that guy's name?
I don't know, man.
With the tape on it, even.
We picked the worst time to play our worst game, and we got out-coached, couldn't shoot, couldn't rebound. They were gashing. They were gashing our defense. Gashing.
Every facet of the game. I've never seen a team we talked about it all year. Our defense was as bad as it could be the whole year. The games we won, we did it with offense. We didn't do it with defense, and so that was very disappointing. But it's like we didn't get any film from St. Louis. They only played 33 games. You think we'd have? I'm sure they played the same way the whole time. They were so efficient. They knew exactly where everybody else was going to be on the court. They shot the ball real well. We knew they were a good shooting team, but to have them shoot, all right, here's a statistic that will just blow your mind. In the last 10 years, we gave more points in the paint than any team in the last 10 years in the tournament. So they played 63 games in the tournament, right? So that's 630 games. We gave up the most points in the paint, which means layups, because people don't shoot anything but layups in the paint. And so the first half, we were just getting carved up. And you got to think, okay, this happened kind of in Ole Miss. We came back. We're going to come back strong. We're going to get a fiery speech at halftime. These guys are not going to play as poorly as they did. And then the second half, it was the worst feeling I've ever had watching that team get the first 4 possessions for the Billikens were layups in the second half. They scored 18 straight points before we scored a point. That was just, I know. And what did Mike White do? Did he call a timeout? Did he get mad? Did he get a text? Did he yell at anybody? Did he even? I don't know. I think they have the way they divided up the coaching staff. We have a defensive coach and an offensive coach, assistant coach. I don't want anybody to see, talk bad about anybody, but I can tell you this: we might want to go out and find us another defensive coach. Like I think we're going to go to find one of Rick Pitino's defensive coaches. Because let me tell you, Rick Pitino would have torn somebody's head off if they'd have played like that defense.
I don't think it would have made a difference. I don't think it would have made a difference with this team. They're playing so bad. I don't think Jesus Christ himself could have come and given the halftime speech and gotten them back in that game. They were terrible.
We talked about who do we think is coming back, who do we want to come back. In this day of paying to play and guys going and leaving, I just got through watching. I don't know if you watched the end of the Duke. That was pretty.
Of
the UConn. I watched the last minute and 20 seconds. Played a little golf, and Duke was winning the whole time. They did the right thing. What Florida should have done, which was foul. Make them shoot 2 shots when you're up by 3. Well, they did that. Cyrus Demery, old Georgia guy, misses the first one. You say, oh, that's good. He misses the first one. It serves him right, leaving Georgia, right? Makes the second one. So Duke's got it with 10 seconds. The ball.
Boozer got it.
The UConn tries to foul them and can't foul them. They finally throw their hands up, block a ball. It kicks to one of the UConn players. He kicks it to number 24, who this kid is, shoots it from way behind NBA rating, nothing but net. So it was unbelievable. I will say the tournament's had some great games. And I don't know if you noticed, fundamental basketball has now overtaken go out there one-on-one, shucking, moving, one-on-one. These teams, Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska, even if you look at Arizona, Purdue, they're so sound. They never take a bad shot. They make the extra pass. They rebound hard. They play tough, straight-up defense. Another thing, all these good teams you look, they all got several big men. And I'm talking about men, 7-footers, 2 7-footers, Illinois, Michigan's got that gigantic 7-footer, and there's a lot of Eastern European players in college basketball now, and they are very, very schooled. A lot of 6'7", 6'8" forwards who can play in and out. It's amazing. It's been some great basketball, and so there's obviously some great basketball coaches out there. I feel like a lot of these teams I'm watching, they know exactly what they want to do on offense all the time, and they're not deviating from it, and they don't take bad shots, and it's a joy to watch. I mean, it's been some great basketball in the tournament.
I think the teams like that you see in it, other than Michigan, who has unlimited resources, but if you're in Illinois or UConn or in Arizona, you can invest less money than you would in football to get to that kind of highest level of competition, and maybe make as much or more money when you have 20 games of people coming in and filling up 15,000 seaters. And so it's kind of like, okay, can we ever, is UConn ever going to compete in football? No. Is Arizona? Probably not. Is Illinois maybe get to the mid of the Big Ten every now and again? So there's that. And the other thing is Georgia needs to decide, are we going to truly, try and break away from the pack and invest some more money in our basketball team to get better players that are going to stick around? And this year is going to be make or break for Mike White. If all he does is show up in the tournament and get them lose again, I think he's course.
Sometimes I think Mike White has really done us a favor. He's got us in the tournament. He's got us back. But I just don't see any fire. I never see. He's got one technical foul the whole year. I mean, not that that's a big deal, but I just like to see him get on some of our guys a little bit. All defenses is want to, and all rebounding is I'm going to get that ball. I'm going to get it. I don't care what I have to do. I'm going to get it. And my dad used to hate and love Rick Pitino because Rick Pitino's teams, they foul like crazy. But and my dad said, Pitino thinks, just foul. It doesn't make a difference. They won't and can't call everything. They just get after it. They get after it. These teams are and they get after it on the boards. I just don't understand the rebounding, the defensive rebounding thing is all technique. I mean, it's just, you got to block out and you got to want that ball. Our guys, that was such a defense and rebounding were such a big, and it's, I hope that's not a trait of Mike White teams.
But do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying to a certain extent? Yeah, I hear what you're saying about, defense, and you got to pay to have better players. If you want to compete now, you've got to, instead of investing $4 million in your basketball team, you're bumping up to 6.
10.
And
that's a drop in the bucket. $2 million to go to UConn. He's playing. I did say heard a great, turned it on today. It was on ESPN or something. And Barnes, the coach at Tennessee, they're talking about football and basketball schools and everything, and how Tennessee is the first time that they'd have won, they'd have gone to the Final Four. I didn't know that's the first time. They've never been to the Final Four before. But they've been up there. And he says, don't be mistaken. Football drives the bus for our athletic program. Sure. We need football to do well because that's where the money comes from. He was. I thought it was a great way he said, let me tell you, I love Tennessee football. I love what they're doing. But because of what Tennessee football does, we reap the benefits in Tennessee basketball. So that was a pretty refreshing thing. But if you notice, there's still a divide between basketball schools and football schools. Well, Michigan obviously had crossover, but there's ill-gotten gains there, we believe, in football. But in basketball, they obviously, it's a big school, a lot of money. I'm telling you, they're probably
a lot of money at Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, the alumni they got all around the country. So, but the rest of them, like I said, you got Kansas. They're not much of a football school. I mean, they played better. And then you got Kansas. You got UCLA hadn't been much of a football school, and they finally been doing better in basketball. But you got Duke, definitely a basketball school. Kentucky's a basketball school. Like I said, Arizona's a basketball school. And what's the Houston basketball? Florida's been a crossover. They're a basketball school, but not a football school now. But we got to see. It's going to be interesting. I do think it's interesting that the amount of it used to be the real big athletic teams were doing it. Now it was like the more skilled basketball players with better basketball minds, the Larry Bird type of players. I saw a lot of players who playing Larry Bird basketball. Didn't look like they were that much quicker. They weren't that much faster. They didn't jump that much higher. They were just always in the right place at the right time. And when they had a wide open shot, it went down. Or when they got the ball, if they pump fake and it seems like another guy knew exactly when to go back door. Like my friend Steve Langston told me that day, he said, when is the last time you saw a Georgia player do a backdoor move? I didn't see any all season. I mean, just little fundamental things like that. And then you take good players and you do that. You get a good basketball team.
You can have players right here for $4 million, or you can have players right here for $6 million. Georgia has to make a business decision.
Iowa basketball is getting.
Georgia has to make a business decision of how much do we want to compete in basketball, and if we want to do more than just get to the tournament, we're gonna have to spend more money. That's it.
Well, but you think Iowa spends a lot of money? Iowa State?
Well,
Iowa didn't.
But they've got a program with some history that they've got a pipeline coming in. We don't have that.
I know.
We got guys bouncing in and out every year. We've got to get some continuity, get some people and lock them down for at least 2 years.
I think all these schools are getting. I don't know what all turnover will be. I'm not sure that. Do you really want to go to battle with the same thing we had this year? Because I don't think the results. If you run that same crew out there next year, you're going to get about the same results. I think you're going to win some ball games. You probably
right,
should.
and that's why I'm not saying that. I'm not saying we're in that same crew out there. I'm saying if you've been spending 4, now you need to spend 6. And whoever you don't want, show them the door and go out and find players that are going to stick around for 2 years and help you build something.
Well, and also, man, I'm telling you, the amount of foreign players that are over here playing in the basketball is amazing. It's Tennessee's got that big European player. That the Final Four scattered with all of them. Illinois, Scott. I mean, it's just crazy.
Well, sure.
And we don't have, and I think you got to have that. The coach has got to have a pipeline to some of those because you got to be able to. I mean, you can't just. Somebody's got to know about them. Somebody's got to be telling you about them.
I mean, you got to have more scouting. You got to invest in scouting.
I mean, Florida's got 6 or 7 guys that are not or foreign born. They may, but so I don't know. It'll be interesting. I'd like to see. I don't know if Mike White did I think you can go back on Bulldogs.com and see if Mike White did a Monday like the Monday show like he did after the season's over. I'd love to see what it is. Now I'm gonna try to. If we're going to advance this a little bit, I'm going to try to somehow get at lunch with Mike White or go get 30 minutes of his time and kind of ask him some of these questions about, some about our philosophy. And I mean,
how are you going to get a lunch with Mike White?
I don't know. I don't think the rest of the press is beating down the door for him. How could he? I mean, he's got to go eat. I mean, I'll go up there and find the Athens and get him. Well, I mean,
he's not just taking numbers at the door. Hey, you want to grab lunch with Mike White? So the typical fans can bitch about everything.
After that performance, it ain't like they're beating him down to do coaching clinic somewhere. I mean, really, the Mike White coaching clinic.
He needs to be more focused now than ever before on the team and not taking random lunches with Grindog.
Grindog could tell him a couple of things. Like, you need to go in there and start wearing. I like to. And if I hear one more time how great practice has been, I'm going to tell him to quit. They need to quit practice and start playing. I don't know. It was just, it could have been so good. If we'd have got beat by St. Louis, who I think was a pretty good team, I mean, with a close game, so be it. That would be.
I got a great.
The game we lost was worse than the.
I got a great analogy for you. You're going to love this. Mike White is to Georgia basketball as Mark Richt was to Georgia football. No fire. He's good, but he's not going to ever get you there. And so what they need now is they need to go out there and find the Kirby Smart of basketball who's going to come in here and not accept anything less than excellence.
Oh, I'm absolutely, yeah. You look at some of and I don't know, and some of these coaches are bad. There's some good coaches. There's some good young coaches. There's some good coaches out there that we have to compete against. I mean, as much as Danny Hurley is just a jerk, but he's a good basketball coach. There ain't no doubt about it. And that coach that coaches Houston, the coaches Texas is good.
I want a Georgia guy. Give me a Georgia guy. Give me a Georgia guy who's got Georgia connections, played there, coached there.
Some of them we don't have a pipeline. I don't know what it takes. I don't know who to get, but you got to have somebody that's just got. I mean, I want to see somebody that gets upset when things don't go well, and instead of saying patting people on the back and somebody
that doesn't bother me.
I mean, you think that if Georgia had played like that in football for the first 30 minutes, the halftimes they'd have come out and played like that in the first and second half of Kirby Smart football, he would have chewed. They should have set Kirby in there. The only one that I think really seemed like he cared was Jeremiah Wilkinson. I mean, he had 30 points. He came out. They talked about halftime. Said we got to come out and get it going. I mean, and he got going, but too little.
For the record, I'm not giving up on Mike White. Also, for the record, this is it. This coming year, this is it.
Oh, you got to be it. It's right. You can't. It's good. And I don't know. Like I said, who knows? I don't know how they. I mean, I don't know how they. I don't know and that's why I'd like to talk to him. Find what is the ins and outs. I mean, are we during this year, are we looking at guys that we think might be in the portal that we can get? I mean, do we have a list of 100 like they do in the NFL Combine? Do we have a list of guys we need? But I tell you what, you also got to have, these good teams have got great role players that are very good at a specific thing. Like you say, Santo blocked a lot of shots. He didn't get a lot of rebounds. Plus, he could dunk the basketball. So, but anything outside of dunking the basketball, he was no threat offensively.
All right, we're gonna have to put a marker in that because I've been summoned up to the main house for dinner. But
all right.
This is not the last one.
Who you got winning it all? We got Arizona's going to play Michigan, so they can't. Only one of those people can win it all. They can't be. So Arizona and Michigan, and we got UConn and Illinois. I know who I want to win. I want Illinois to win. I think the winner of the Arizona Michigan game is going to be the champion. That's really the title game.
Yeah, you're probably right. All right, I gotta go. We're gonna do another one, so don't worry about this. We're gonna do another one. We'll do either another preview or post game.
Mark my words. I will have the intel from Mike White before June 1st.
All right,
June 1st, I will have an audience with Mike White.
The MadDawg Show is proudly sponsored by Alex Smith Garden Design, Griffin Lumber and Hardware, The Sanford Company, Sellers Construction, Bib Distributing, Butler Automotive, Pelicano Construction, The Dog Bone, Go Clean Co., Macon Monogramming, Fincher's Barbecue, Bulldog Illustrated, Cranford Chiropractic, Progressive Communications, and Walthall Oil.